Hello everybody and welcome to the GMS Magazine channel. This is the board game review show. And today I'm going to bring you a review of a game I played a couple of days ago at my gaming club, a game from Come On Games, designed by Eric Lang called The Others. It was released in 2016 and it is a one versus all cooperative, well, versus one, kind of a Ameritrash that promises a huge amount with some absolutely fantastic production values. But is actually this game worth playing more than the ones I have already played? Well, I am about to tell you. Your game? Come On Games has a fantastic reputation for producing some truly outstandingly cool games. The minis in Zombicide are just fantastic, and everything after that's been just as good. The Others is a game that actually delivers exactly the same. In this game, in which 2 to 5 players are going to play together, well, except not everybody's going to play together. This is a one versus all game, in which somebody is going to take the role of the villain, in this case is one of the deadly sins, and is going to play versus the rest of the players. And the rest of the players are going to work cooperatively against the villain in order to develop some missions that will allow the apocalypse to take place, because that, my friends, is exactly what's happening in the city of Haven. A cult has decided that the world would be better off if the 7 deadly sins were walking among us, and they are summoning them. Now, the deadly sins are a little bit weak to start with, but they're getting, stronger and stronger, which is measured in an apocalypse track. What can we find inside this box? Well, we find the tiles that are going to create the city of Haven, where we're going to be moving around in order to go through the missions. We find an awful lot of truly gorgeous minis, both for the players and the foes. Our enemies are going to have acolytes, we're going to have smaller scenes, we're going to have avatars, and we're going to have beautiful mini of one of the deadly sins that's got one of the tightest rounded asses I've ever seen in a mini, STDs and all. It looks insane. It looks absolutely fantastic. Now we have also a lot of cheats and some cards. Cards are both for the effects that the villain is going to be able to use against us, and for the equipment that we can find when we explore the city. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let us recap. The production is great. As you can expect, the minis are just absolutely beautiful. Everything is printed in full color, so absolutely gorgeous. And one thing that I appreciated this time is that the what you use to control and keep track of your corruption and your heal points or health points, I'll go into that in a minute, are actually little plastic tokens. It's not just a little, circular cheat or something. I know it's not necessary, but it looks so cool, and it's well in line within the rest of the production of the game. So it has little details that really bring the whole thing alive. I liked the fact that the player boards are boards. It would have been very easy to do it like in Zombicide, that were just paper. Not this time. They're cardboard and they look fantastic. There are 7 characters within the game, and one of the losing conditions is that when you're playing the game and you keep killing them, you don't have any more to actually resurrect them. So in a game of 4 players, you have 7 characters. Well, once you've killed 4 of them, things get really tight, really tight. If the apocalypse track also comes to an end, then the game ends, and not in a good way for the world. However, if you manage to get to the deadly thing and destroy it, which is not easy, then you win the game, yay, and you can go on to the next mission. There are a fair number of missions that increase in difficulty, and one of the things that I liked about those missions is that you get a little tree so you can choose between 2 sub-missions in each one of the big missions. I'm saying the word mission a lot. This is very good because you have a choice, which means that you have more replayability. And if one of the tactics hasn't worked for you, the strategy didn't really work out, well, you can play again and try the other one and see what happens. Maybe it will be a little bit easier for you. Each character has one unique ability that, believe me, you want to learn how to use because it's going to be necessary. This is not just convenient. The game has been designed so these abilities are actually necessary. So that's a good one to have. The players have 2 things to do during their round: move and an action. You can move 2 spaces. You can have 1 action. You can do the action and then the move, or the move and then the action. But you cannot move 1 space, attack for example, and then retreat with another move action. That's not going to work out like that. I did have difficulties with that a little bit to start with, because I couldn't see the point of that at the beginning of the game. But it became very apparent afterwards. If you do that, the characters are just way too powerful because they can go, slash at something and then retreat and will be untouchable. That's kind of not cool. And the game is not meant to be easy either. Each player has 2 tracks to keep in mind. One is the corruption track, and the other one is the health track. Now, this is really cool and I liked it. Corruption is necessary. As you corrupt your character, you are unlocking new abilities that you can use to immense effect. Make no mistake, corruption is as unavoidable as it is necessary. Get too much corruption and you lose health. Lose too much health, 5 points, and then you lose your character. Not what you want. Each time that you lose a health point, you actually have to cover that in the player board, so you lose that ability. Say for instance that you have 5 corruptions out of the, I think it was 7 or 8, I can't remember. Well, each one of those points of corruption is going to allow you to unlock 1 extra ability. That extra ability can be increased armor, it can be increased dice rolls, increased damage. But if you take a wound, that is reflected by covering one of those skills at your leisure, and you cannot use that one until you heal. Yes, you become weaker. And I liked it. I like the fact that you can reflect that because you're getting corrupted, you're getting the powers, you're getting the desperation to be able to do things that otherwise you wouldn't be able to do. But if you are wounded, you become weaker and weaker, and that has to be shown somehow. It's not just a matter of saying, well, I can do exactly the same things if I am at full health or if I have 3 points of health taken away. So I like that immensely. The actions that you can perform during your turn can be anything like attacking, or searching in the tile where you are, or healing, or using the satellite so you can direct a massive beam onto another tile and destroy it. Yeah, that was a bit wow. That's wild. Okay. We didn't have the need to use it. Overall, the game is really good fun. However, it's not perfect for me, for one reason. Because it's a 1 versus all, one of the issues that I found is that although it is very well balanced, because the number of actions that the villain can perform is directly related to the number of players to keep the game balanced, but there are a number of cards with a number of effects that can be quite drastic. So for instance, the thing that happened to me is I had an absolutely fantastic fighting round. You know, I roll my dice, which I'm going to explain in a second, and yeah, I managed to make a huge amount of damage. But this one card alone, away with everything. The action wasn't done, and I had to repeat it, and I didn't do that well the second time. Now, that is dramatic. I like that. But the fact that those cards, the villain can use more than one of those really powerful cards one after the other by using reaction points, that means that if the GM really wants to mess you up, they have all the tools they need. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it, and that can be really frustrating because it increases the difficulty of the game quite a lot. That means that depending on how magnanimous the GM feels, you will have it easier or harder to actually win this game. And the missions themselves are not easy. I can tell you, even the starting missions can be a bit hard. Combat is handled by rolling dice. Each character is going to have a number of points on combat, defense, and exploration. You roll your die, and if you get the point of corruption, you can get corruption or counteract it. You can beat somebody or defend yourself. Now, there is the opportunity of rolling crits. That means that when you roll a crit, you roll again. And if you roll another crit, you roll again. And getting crits is not particularly difficult in this game. We managed to roll a lot of them. So suddenly a roll that was meant to be just 5 dice became 9 all of a sudden. And yeah, that is a massive percentage, huge percentage, which worked very well for us, but also for our GM. And that was a bit frustrating at times. It was a bit, Jesus, I mean, you can roll 3 times in a row, and suddenly you can get 3 creatures against 1 character, and you end up rolling like 17 dice. How on earth am I supposed to survive that? So it can be a frustrating game. Conclusion. I liked it. I actually enjoy this game. I can see how this could be frustrating for some people. And at the beginning, I have to say that it took me a little while to set aside my role-playing games mentality to get into, no, this is a much more structured, much more frustrating, much more rigid sort of game. But as soon as we play, a couple of rounds and we got talking, the players, with each other, and what we could do, what we couldn't do, what the character was able to achieve at one point, what if you do this and then I do that, or maybe you can do this and do that, then the whole thing becomes a lot more interesting. The GM was actually quite kind to us, so I cannot complain about that. But he did relate some experiences of people who thought the game was really frustrating. So you have to be careful. This is a game that if you're going to play the villain, it requires that you read the room a little bit and know how much and how far to push your players. With an insane amount of expansions, and the price is about $80, give or take at the moment, this actually, if you like games like Zombicide, is a very good investment. You're going to have an awful lot of hours of play with this, and it will probably, if you don't like it, sell well in the second-hand market. So I am actually quite looking forward to repeating the experience and playing this game once more. So yeah, I'm actually going to recommend this game. It's if you have the money to invest in it, definitely well worth it. Thank you very much indeed for being there. Remember, please, to subscribe and share this video so everybody can hear about this game, and to leave me your comments down there. Did you play it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Have I missed anything? Because I love to hear from you. Thank you once again, and until next time, your game.